Hello everyone, myself Dr. Rajesh S. Badigar, working as assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry, JSS Arts, Science and Commerce College, Gokak. Well, in the last video, we have come across the crystal field theory assumptions or salient features of crystal field theory. Now in this video, I am going to explain the shapes and orientation of d orbitals. Since crystal field theory considers or since crystal field theory concentrates mainly on d orbital splitting, it becomes necessary to come across the shapes and orientation of d orbitals. Because once we know the shapes and orientation of d orbitals, it becomes easy to understand the splitting of these 5 d orbitals into different sets of orbitals in different environments like octahedral, tetrahedral or square planar. So in that aspect, let us study about the shapes and orientation of d orbitals. There are 5 d orbitals, namely dxy, dxz, dyz and dx square and dx square minus y square and dz square. That means any transition metal atom consists of these 5 d orbitals. Now these 5 d orbitals shapes and orientations are as shown here. Now looking into the shapes and orientation of these 5 d orbitals, it is very clear that all the 5 d orbitals are not identical in structure, but depending upon the position of the lobes of the orbitals. So that means here the lobe of the orbital is in between the axis in these 3 orbitals, whereas here the lobe of the orbital is exactly lying along the axis. Therefore, depending upon the position of the lobes of the d orbitals, these 5 d orbitals can be grouped or classified into 2 sets of orbitals. One set consisting of dxy, dxz and dyz orbital, and it is termed as T2z orbitals. T2z orbitals. Whereas one more set consists of 2 orbitals, that is dx square minus y square and dz square orbital. These 2 sets of orbitals are known as EZ orbitals. EZ orbitals. Thus, the d orbitals can be grouped into 2 sets of orbital, that is T2g orbital and EG orbital. T2g orbital set consists of 3 orbitals, namely dxy, dxz and dyz orbital, whereas EG orbital consists of 2 orbitals. EG set of orbital consists of 2 sets of 2 orbitals, namely dx square minus y square orbital and dz square orbital. Now, why these T2g orbitals are grouped? These three orbitals are grouped in T2g orbitals only because of the resemblance of the shapes of these 3 orbitals. Let us observe these shapes of these lobes of these 3 orbitals. For example, if you consider dxy orbital, let us know just see the lobe of these orbital. The lobe of the orbital of dxy orbital is exactly lying in between the x and y axis. Similarly, dxz orbital, if you take, again here the lobe of the orbital is exactly lying in between x and z axis. It is, this lobe is here. Similarly, if you consider the dyz orbital, again the lobe of the orbital is exactly in between the y and z axis. So therefore, these 3 orbitals are identical in shape. Therefore, they are grouped in one set. We know that then that set is called as T2g orbitals. Similarly, another set of orbital is there, that is dx square minus y square and dz square orbital. It is dz square orbital. Here also, if you observe, the lobe of the orbital is exactly lying along the axis. For example, if you consider dx square minus y square orbital, just see the lobe of the orbital is exactly lying x axis and y axis. That means along the axis the lobes are directing. Similarly, in dz square orbital also the lobe of the orbital are exactly lying along the z axis. Therefore, EG orbital lobes are exactly, and these 2 orbitals are identical. Hence, it is grouped in the EG orbital. Here T2g means triply degenerate orbital. That means all the 3 orbitals are having same shape and same energy, whereas EG orbital is known as doubly degenerate orbitals because these 2 orbitals are having same energy. Now, thus a free metal atom consists of 2 sets of orbitals, namely T2g orbital and EG orbital. Now, if you consider in a ground state or before complex formation, all these 5 d orbitals are having same energy. energy. Now, if all the 5d orbitals are having same energy, that condition we call that one as a degenerate orbitals or degenerate d orbitals. This degeneracy of orbital will remain same in absence of in two conditions. One, in absence of ligand, that means before complex formation. In another condition, if the ligand field is spherically surrounded around the central metal ion, in that condition also the degeneracy will remain as it is. That we have already discussed in the previous video. Now, for example, let us consider one metal. It consists of d5 electron. That means 5 electrons are present in d orbital. Now I will put all the 5 d electrons singly here. For convenience, I will put here 1, and second one is here, and third one is here, and fourth one is here, and sixth one is here. Now, according to crystal field theory, as the ligand approaches the central metal ion to form complex, ligand is already considered as a negative field and metal is considered as a positive ion of charge equal to its oxidation state. Of course, there is a electrostatic force of attraction takes place between metal and the ligand, but at the same time there is a repulsion occurs between the electrons present in the central metal ion and the negative field of the ligand. That is, if the ligand is coming in a particular direction, what will happen? If a ligand is coming in XYZ direction, for example, if you consider if the ligands are coming in XYZ direction, this is metal. Already we know T2G orbit lobes are exactly lying in between the axis, and EG orbit lobes are lying exactly along the axis. Now, if the ligands are coming in XYZ direction, means the negative field is coming towards the central metal ion in XYZ direction, definitely the EG orbit lobes are going to experience more repulsion when compared to T2G orbital, because in a T2G orbital the electron density is always in between the axis, because the lobe is always in between the axis. Therefore, if any electron is present, definitely in case of T2G orbital the electron density will be in between the two axes. But in case of EG orbital, if any electron is there, that means the electron density is always lying along the axis. Now, if you assume that since the ligand is coming along XYZ direction, means the EG orbital lobes, where the EG orbital lobes will experience more repulsion because of the direct more repulsion between the ligand field and the electron of the central metal ion. Therefore, EG orbital energy increases when compared to T2G orbitals. Here T2G orbital lobes will also experience repulsion, but less when compared to EG orbital, because the electron density is in between the axis, whereas in case of T2G orbital the electron density is lying along the axis. Therefore, more repulsion will take place between the EG orbital electrons when compared to T2G orbital. Therefore, EG orbital energy increases, that we can show in this fashion, whereas when T2G orbital experience less repulsion when compared to EG orbital. So now we cannot call these 5d orbitals as a degenerate d orbitals, because all the 5d orbitals are not having same energy. So therefore, here the degeneracy of the d orbital is destroyed. So this is how we are going to study in the forthcoming videos, how the d orbitals are going to split into different sets of orbital if the 6 ligands are present in a octahedral fashion, if the 4 ligands are present in a tetrahedral fashion, in what fashion these 5d orbitals are going to split into different sets of orbitals if the ligands are coming in square planar fashion. So that we are going to study in the next video. Thank you.